Sacred Harmony, where ancient soul meets modern mind. Today, we are joined by the magnetic NaRon Tillman, a pastor, entrepreneur, mindfulness guide, and the author of Internal Awakening in an AI Age. From inner healing to AI reprogramming, NaRon doesn't just talk transformation, he lives it. Get ready for a deep, soulful, and futuristic conversation on what it means to reclaim a divine identity in a world run by algorithms. Welcome to the show, Naran. It's an honor to have you.
Thank you for having me. I really, really appreciate being here.
Mhm. So, Naran, what inspired you to explore the intersection of AI and spiritual awakening in your new book?
Oh, well, thank you. First of all, thank you for um, pointing that out. I was doing learning prompting when I first got into AI. It was difficult. I remember going to ChatGPT and I was like, I don't know, I don't understand this. I don't understand what the hype is about. I didn't understand. But I realized I was prompting wrong and I was getting vague results or generic results, stuff that I wasn't happy with. I'm like, I can do a way better job myself. And then I was talking to a friend and we started talking about prompting. I started taking some classes and looking at some um, videos and just really learning about prompting. That's the way my mind works. I want to understand how to be better at something. And as I was going through the lessons and learning, I started to think in my meditation about the synergy between prompting for AI in the way that we talk to ourselves. And I said, wow, that would be an interesting book because I know that religious people are going to shy away from technology, from this technology. And I want them to feel comfortable with the technologies. So I started to explore how can I make the languaging so that people of faith, doesn't matter what faith, or thought leaders or instructors, yoga instructors, people who would probably be the last ones to come to this ball game would feel comfortable in understanding that this is nothing to be afraid of.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And were there any personal loops you had to break that led to this work?
Yes, there was plenty of personal loops. I have several manuscripts that are incomplete. This is actually the first book that I've written, and it'll be out in the fall. So I had several uh, roadblocks, several iterations of books that I didn't complete. So just really finalizing it and feeling comfortable about sharing these thoughts with the world. And I think that this is probably germane that this is the first book because it's so relevant to where we are right now. It gave me the ability to merge my love for technology and my love for sacred texts.
That level of honesty is powerful because often what we hide becomes what controls us. And it's refreshing to hear how you turned that into path for others.
Yeah, thank you.
Hmm. And you talk about using AI prompts for subconscious reprogramming.
Yeah.
How does that work practically for someone just starting out?
So when a person finishes the book, they're going to know how to prompt better, but they're also going to know how the subconscious mind works, and how to overcome the loops, the limitations, like we just discussed about me with those thousands of manuscripts that are incomplete. But the prompting, the the agent wants to give you your desired result, but the agent can't give you the desired result without you understanding creatively what it is that you want the agent to produce. So if you look at the subconscious mind, neuroscience calls it neuroplasticity. The subconscious mind is pliable. And when we prompt the subconscious mind to overcome a financial fear or to overcome a conversation fear, some people are afraid of speaking in front of audiences, afraid to go on podcasts. So, how do we overcome those fears? We have to prompt. The difference between the subconscious mind and the AI agent is that the AI agent produces quickly. So, if you prompt fairly well, you don't have to be a great prompter. Even if you can't prompt at all, when you hit send, the agent is going to give you a rapid result. The subconscious mind works a little bit differently in the fact that the subconscious mind first is going to move from a fear based or protective based stance. So when you try to give it a new direction, it's going to really resist and go back to the old direction because it's saying, oh, you don't really know what's best for you. I know what's best for you. So there's a little wrestling there in the subconscious mind. However, through persistence and micro movements, we can change patterns of behavior. We can change the way we view life. We can change the way that we view money, but it has to be done on a consistent and micro way. Most people want those changes to happen overnight. They don't happen overnight. They happen they happen subtly, and subtle turns into we look back and we're like, wow, 2 months ago, 3 years ago, I was over here. Look where I am right now. And there's similarities, but there's uniqueness to both.
That's amazing. And can intention alone shift results, or does it require consistent inner discipline too?
Um, that's the misnomer that people think that just being intentional is going to help break through loops. But think about it; these loops are again there to protect us. The subconscious mind doesn't understand how to differ between what's false and what's reality. So, but the subconscious mind does know how to give us the results. So when we've been living in a certain way, a certain pattern, a certain loop for, let's say, 5 years, and then we try to break this loop, the subconscious mind is going to shut down and is going to present what it is that we were doing before because it's saying this is what we're comfortable with. We don't really want to create these new patterns of behavior. So it's giving you what you've been comfortable with. So just having an intent on doing without having the resiliency built in is not going to work because a lot of people wake up with intents on starting business, intents on starting a diet, an intent on doing all of these things. And we have industries that make millions of dollars out of intent. In the beginning of the year, everyone says, I intend on losing weight. I'm going to join the gym. They get these gym memberships and they start paying and they may go once or twice. And then now they have a bill that they're paying, forgotten about, and it's coming out of their debit cards every month. But they're not actively moving towards whatever they intended to do. So intent is not going to get you there. There has to be a real plan of action.
Hmm. And that's such a balanced approach, melding tech with intentionally without bypassing the inner work.
Yes, that can't work. You can't bypass the inner work. You can't. You're not going to get results in anything without without first doing the work internally. The problem is that we are driven by a world that looks at the external stuff. So, like your podcast, so to say, if you start looking at everyone else's podcast and start measuring your podcast against everybody else's podcast, you're not going to feel good internally about what it is that you're doing if you're just starting out. Because all you're looking at is the fact that I may not have a lot of followers or listeners. People may not want to actually come on the show. People may say negative things about your show in your inner circle. Oh, she has a little podcast. Or, oh yeah, what are they doing? Oh, they're always trying to do something. So all these things happen from an external base. It's difficult to turn someone who's judging themselves from external to start nurturing themselves from the internal. That stuff takes time, but it works fast.
Totally. And you're a pastor and a yoga teacher. How do
Mhm.
you reconcile traditional faith with these modern, even tech forward tools?
Um, well, that has been a work in progress, and I think that that's what helped me land to this space where I can have these conversations. Um, I don't really view uh myself as a traditionalist. I started out that way, and that inflexibility would not have landed me here because I started practicing yoga, stretching. I was calling it stretches, and I resisted the meditation part. I was losing out on something that was really, really helpful. So when I added the meditation part, it made me a better preacher. It made me a better thinker. And man is not just a Homo sapien, man is created to think. We are thinking beings. And when we lose the thinking portion, we then become reactionary beings. And when we move in reactionary based models, we don't get good results. But if we think before we move, then we become deep thinkers. And when we become deep thinkers, we become better creators. And creativity is what the universe rewards. The universe is not looking for creation, is looking for people to co-collaborate in creation, and it's waiting for innovatives in every industry, whether it's in yoga, Christianity, podcasting, someone who's a deep thinker that can bring forth a book like Awakening I Am, Internal Awakening in a Digital or AI Age. And that's what happens when you collaborate all of the things that all of the tools that are accessible to you and you use them properly.
Mm-hmm. Right. And have you ever faced resistance from faith communities on integrating AI or mindfulness?
Um, yeah, you get your. I don't listen to it though, but you get people what they make their smart comments. I'm pretty sure when the book launches in the next month, there's going to be a lot of people that have smart and quirky comments. But if anybody who really knows me knows that um that doesn't bother me.
That's great. And that duality you walk between reverence and innovation is what makes your message so timely and essential.
Thank you.
Mhm. And your work with re-entry populations and veterans through AI powered tools is fascinating. What impact are you seeing?
Well, that agent is coming out, and it's going to be along with the book, but we have tested it. So we have a pathway back agent, and I have friends. I grew up in the draw, the war on drugs, the draw on war, the war on drugs era, and that was a really really bad time in the inner cities in the United States, especially in New York City where I grew up, Queens, Far Rockaway, Queens, New York, and in that era, we've seen a lot of people that was incarcerated. Well, a lot of those sentences are coming up now. We have a lot of people that's coming home 20 years, 25 years. The world has changed. So what the Pathway Back agent is produced to do is to help them integrate back into the world. It's specifically prompted to learn the end user, learn what they did while they were there, help them to resume writing. They can put in their zip codes and find um, assistance or jobs in a neighborhood or in a community or in a city that they live in that's friendly towards people with federal convictions and all of those things. I think that that was an important work for us to really undertake. But we didn't just stop there. We have one coming out for veterans and one coming out for people that's going back into the workplace. And then we have an agent coming out for entrepreneurs. And it's all launching this fall. And I'm really super excited about the ability to share in agencies. And this is to me the way that ministry is moving now, from the brick and mortar to real tangible uh, assets that can help people get along.
Mm-hmm. That's great. And what do these individuals teach you in return about resilience and transformation?
That is possible. Uh, I had to transform. So these are in the book. I'll give you an example. Like um, these tools help me restore my marriage and my family. These tools help me in my health. So these are not just lessons that I'm just giving you from a distance. I'm actually going through personal stories of loss that are in recovery, a personal experience of doubt, and I'm showing how I use these tools that I talk about to help me overcome a lot of these issues that were in my life. I had to live it myself personally in order for it to really, really resonate.
And there's something deeply sacred about giving tech a heart and giving unsolved souls a voice.
Yes. I grew up I was one of those voiceless souls. I grew up not knowing what I was going to be, what my purpose was in life. And I just knew I wanted to be successful, but I didn't know what road I would take. So I tap into that when I'm working with people, and I'm not just looking to serve a community of people that are vibrant and I'm looking to serve a community of people that are willing to do the work regardless of what condition they find themselves in.
Mm-hmm. 100%. And in an age of distraction and automation, how can someone reconnect with their divine identity?
All of that is within. So that's the whole point of the message, is that everything that you need, if you're listening to me, is not from without. Everything that you need is from within. But we've been conditioned to look to everyone else to give us something, whether it's our government, our preachers, our gurus, our teachers, our instructors. We make them our idols. When the biggest person that you should be looking at and the biggest transformation that you can make is your mindset. And it starts from within. And when you start to do little micro movements every day, start self-talking to yourself better, start just making up your bed in the morning, having a goal when you get out of your bed, you'll see that you'll attract people that are going in the direction that you desire to go. And you may not even know the road that you want to be on, but I promise you, if you start talking to yourself better, you'll find it.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And what's one practice you return to when you feel disconnected?
Silence. I STFU. I shut the blank up. I just sit in silence. That's the most powerful thing that we can do. We talk too much sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then groundness is something we all need to hear right now, especially when our minds feel hijacked by noise.
Mm, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Um, we don't spend enough time listening to our minds, and we don't know. That's how come we're driven by our minds. But we control our thoughts, and we can reprogram our thoughts, and we can um, change those loops and create new pathways so that we can experience the best version of ourselves that we can be.
Mm-hmm. Totally. So NaRon Tillman just reminded us that the future doesn't have to be soulless. It can be sacred. If today's episode stirred something in you, let it lead you inward. You're not just data in a system, you're divine by design. Stay present, stay open, and keep walking in victory.